Good night to all. Good night to all. Welcome to the New National Party live stream, N.N.P Nights Political Tuesdays. I want to welcome you all to the program. I am Kemar Stuart, the interim political leader of the New National Party of Barbados. So I want to welcome you all who took the time to tune in so far. Um, Without further ado, I'm going to get the other persons who are here on the stage. Um, I have at least two persons who are happy to meet tonight. Meet them, please. Meet them, please. Mute your mics, please. Right. Mute your mic. Yes, so that should be clear. Guys, please mute your mic if you're not speaking, and please do not have two devices close to each other, you know. Somebody is signing twice, so that's why we're getting the feedback. So you need to sign out and sign back in. At least sign out to one of the accounts. That's why we're getting the feedback in the mic.
Me?
No, you're fine. I think that is David. Right. So good night to everyone. Asking you to like and share the page, like and share the page. Alternate views. Oh, sorry, not alternate views. New National Party. So that's not saying that. But good evening to you, Simon, and welcome to this evening's program. Happy to have you on, my brother. Welcome to the N.N.P page. Tonight we'll be discussing the party at large and what the party seeks to offer to Barbados and to Barbadians. And we hope that you benefit from tonight's discussion. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share. Tonight promises to be a very interesting uh, dive into what the new National Party has to offer. First, let me just ask our two guests, but we have guests, the supporters, loyal supporters, who will be sharing tonight. So I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to ask Trump, the person who you can't see, to introduce himself. So I'm going to ask him to open his mic and to say good night to everyone.
Okay, good night, everybody. I can introduce myself on camera in a minute or so, just freshen up myself, right? So, yeah, Ijra Outram, Ijra Outram, that's the name. Currently, as a lab technician at Goja Primary School, and also entrepreneur, Outram Mixer Rentals, movies, rent concrete mixers, sell concrete mixers, service concrete mixers, registered business, hope to be a company, I think. So, that's basically me. I'm 24 years old, and man, I just want to be involved in an independent candidate and a little you going to say basically. So I just want to be involved in. I want to be involved in this, brother. That's the truth. I want to be involved in this. I'm a part of this person. I think I is a Rasta man too. So that when I come to company, might just say wrapping up my term over my head. I think. And when I do company camera, see what I like and thing and that's yeah, that's what we discuss things and discuss solutions and not really about like I really interested in having conversations about talking about the government, this, the government, that, mostly about solutions. And when I see me talking, that's mostly my point. So I really into talk about solutions. So that's me. That's me.
So could you repeat the name one more time for those persons who did not hear?
I Jaraya Outram. I Jaraya Outram. You know what I mean? I know as Marcus, like Marcus Garvey. But I Jaraya Outram is mine. Mine Ojara outro.
Yes. So thank you for signing on to the platform, Jorea. We're gonna ask the next person online to introduce himself and to say where he's on N.N.P nights tonight.
I did like this game AI. Okay.
Right. So he still did not have his mic functioning, so we had to bounce him out because he has two streams open and therefore he getting the clashing feedback. However, let us add on an additional person and ask him to introduce himself tonight and where he's on the new National Party live stream. His name is Joseph Kadagan.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
But where are you live stream tonight, sir? The new National Party.
Yes, sir. And how is it going with you tonight, Mr. Kemar, sir? How is it going?
Yeah, everything is going well with me. I'm thankful, grateful.
Great.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here on the live stream. As usual, this one is for the people. As usual, um, as you know, we have alternate views, but tonight is political night dedicated to the formation of the new national party. So I am asking you and the other interested persons who were invited via the stream, to share why you are on the platform tonight. What interest do you have in the new national party? You know, yeah, I want to hear from you guys initially, and then I'm going to dive in deep
Well,
tonight.
good night, everyone. Well, the new National Party has um, a, a very good perspective of what they're planning to do, and hopefully, that we could see some action in the community from the people, give it some support. We know we get a lot of issues where the country needs it to be addressed. And I think that having the younger generations come in also have a little more experience also on there. And for yourself, as as one of the leading people behind this party and some other executive members, I think that this party will be something to grow and give it strength, and we will be, and it should be actually very competitive going forward. And I would advise everyone that's out there, give it some support. Give it some support because, as you know, people are always talking about two party state, but we have to look beyond that. No, this is the time to look beyond those areas. As an older man, the arena with the youngsters, you learn a lot, and I think that this is what the Barbados society needs. This kind of party going forward. There's, you'll be hearing from me a lot more. People that is out there listening, hopefully, I've known that there's a coming media launch soon from now, and those are the things that people should be looking out for and giving this party a chance in the arena.
Yes. But thank you very much, Mr. Kadagan, for the uh, well wishes. Thank you for the belief that you have in the new platform. But as was said earlier by the first contributor, this is a platform of solutions. We're seeking to move forward. We're seeking to bring new voices, new ideas, and new vision to the country. See it from a different perspective, an alternate perspective. Um, you quite you were quite right when you said that Barbados was dominated by the two-party system since 1966, and part of the N.N.P brochure, um, you would have seen a copy going around. We gave an initial message to the public as to the foundations of the party and the vision of the party. So the message from the brochure states, "Dear reader, thank you for taking the time out to read the introduction of the new National Party booklet. This new political institution has been established as the birthplace of modern governance, with a mission of providing solutions to the problems facing the people of Barbados. As Barbados seeks to birth its identity in world affairs, being one of the world's newest republics, the new National Party wishes to restore the lost fortunes of this beautiful island sitting in the Atlantic, signed by the founders of the new National Party. So straight away, straight away, the founders indicate which direction they want to head as it relates to the people of Barbados and providing solutions. So, Mr. Outram, you were correct. You were correct. So let me, introduce you back to the screen here um, to say something to us.
So solutions. These are some solutions that I just be thinking about, I like watching the world and even watching Abraham Traore right now in Burkina Faso. He hot and everybody talking about he right. But even people like that know me now, consider I say this already. How come we just spend so much money to get the roads fixed, right? From privatized people that don't really put back that much money in the economy, Infra and Williams. It's like check what going on. Check what going on, I right now I trying to start out Trump paving solutions, right? Patching, but I just gonna start like doing patching work. Or I can't just go and like start doing them like that's like that's $1 million worth of equipment investment. So I was thinking about doing paving doing patching work on good roads. But anyways, I mean I do like little research for the prices and I think to start. Family, it costs $700 for a bucket for a meter. A meter. Which is like a bobcat. A bobcat. The drum for the bobcat. One of them is $700. So when people complain like NTW can't fix the roads and don't fix the roads good, it's because they're limited. Cause like how much it's like 10 grand already just to fill up a truck. To just do patchy work on the road. So like you can't really blame NTW, you gotta blame who does officiate it. But like it would be more cost efficient to got your own asphalt facility and doing you and like that should be a state-owned thing if it's the roads. And people will get way more relief, but like roads will get more budget friendly to do, cheaper in the long run. And like even though people be complaining about the government, this government that, they can't see the government do fix the roads. I realize the initiative the man take from Africa, the man start fixing the roads all of it. Which is like it's saying that for everything. So that's a good initiative to do. Like, that's common sense. As a business owner, that's common sense. Because you basically ranked in a service. You pay like $5 million getting 9 roads. 9 roads?
Slow down a bit, buddy. Slow down a bit, buddy. You're saying a lot. You're saying a lot. So we want
Sorry.
to.
That's a habit. That's me. That's me. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But sorry, but I ain't trying to speak slow. But like, just little things like that could go a long way. Little things like that could go a long way. You got the industry monopolizing that aspect. But nobody else can go compare with the
Right.
man.
Wait, let us understand where you're coming from. You're saying that you're in the construction arena. You
Correct.
rent mixers to the
No. I say I in the construction arena. Don't limit me to saying I just rank mixers. I sell mixers, rank
yeah,
mixers, and service mixers. I is
yeah,
the beautiful part. You understand?
yes, and
I want to make more hard on time, but I might got the most mixers in Barbados to rank right now. You
okay.
understand? So
So
I in the field.
yeah. Okay, so in your field, right, which is construction, because we try, you have to break it down for persons on the live to understand, where you're coming from, so they could respond and give a different perspective on what you're saying. So construction, you're in the business of sales, rentals, etc. And you mentioned about the construction of roads, and you mentioned about asphalt, and you mentioned about Ibrahim Traore and the ability to construct an asphalt plant, um, as a solution to the potholes and the damage on the roads that we face, and formulating a proper structured business or a set of businesses or a proper industry of asphalt plant Is that clearly what you're articulating?
Yes, yes, sir. That's precisely the same. Because realistically, right? Realistically, if you got 2 weeks, because if you start a company that it's gonna be public sector, which is the fixed rule of Barbados. You understand? But if you open that as the government, if the government decide to own that as a state-owned enterprise, either way, it's gonna be beneficial for the country because the money either can stand in the government or if is a because like to start that now, as like imagine we start like imagine we get 3,000 members per se, and we had to start that, the major customer gonna be the government, which is the fixed rules. Private sector work gonna be limited to car parks and like private developments, and the money still coming for there. But your major, like if you go on the line and check it out, I think Inferendo signed a like $46.9 thing.
Let's slow
But you
down a
got
bit, buddy. You're talking too fast. You're talking too fast. We can't. You're talking too fast. So you gotta slow it down for me and for the people on the live that we could, respond to.
where to speak from was the last thing that was said that you heard.
We could just give us a recap, basically, and bullet points as to, because I think you're speaking so quickly that
Point I am trying to make, right? That's just one solution, right now. But I just think the point that I'm trying to make is if instead of spending all that money from fixing roads for roads or asphalt is wear and tear. That's the whole reason why it's used because it's reusable, and renewable resource, however, it can always use over. But it can got wear and tear, so it gotta get maintained and it gotta go to the facilities and get whatever process it could do with it, so it can come back from the road. And see,
we,
you got stay on the industry, which is the government will do it. But for that to happen, the government got to be under the control of people that are interested in doing that. Or they gotta be owned by the people, But like I encourage like that, even though I say that it's expensive, just start saying like that ain't really gonna cost no more than maybe 5 mil. That's not crazy numbers. But a country that going 200,000 people, if 20,000 people can be really like if you add the numbers, it really ain't that. I saying something in the let me slow down. I saying something in the WhatsApp chat when as soon as they add that's saying that I do like this is just a little rough draft, for all the information online. You just really gotta travel to the places and see what's going on. I went
yeah.
Canada, Europe, and doing a few like major highways.
Like, so
That against
if
something.
you ever had, give me a second, if you ever, or if you're aware, a businessman in Barbados operated a solar plant, I believe, at some point in time, I think he killed the, the report away in Dominica, and this was a black businessman I am speaking about, a Barbadian businessman. So there is definitely scope and there is vision in what you are saying, the structure of what you're proposing in terms of an asphalt industry, and we be able to tackle the roads. We had the N.N.P programs, and these N.N.P programs mainly touch the roads on the outskirts of the country, major roads where people drive up and down, where the tourists drive up and down. Particularly when we have like royalty coming, governments would pave those key roads, um, often neglecting residential areas, right, in the communities where we live. So we had an urban,
You got a lot of static in the audio. The audio got a lot of static.
right. Joe, could you hear me clearly?
I can hear you pretty clear. I don't know where it's coming from, right? I think there's something on his side, might be on from his side, but you're coming through very clear on my side.
Okay, no problem.
Because
Yes.
what I'm seeing coming from his side, he might be on Wi-Fi. I'm seeing his thing is telling me unstable connection. That's what it's giving me from his side. The other ones are clear.
Okay, fine. Right.
Right.
So, as I was saying, mill and pave programs under the Ministry of Transport and Works. I believe we should also invest in a residential mill and pave program. Right. So we would borrow money in loans for various institutions, and as was said earlier, the roads that we target mainly are the main roads, the major roads. If you drive through some of the communities in Barbados, you'll see how horrible they are. So the urban corridor, the rural corridor, I believe it is time to heavily invest in the rural districts. So our St. John bias is quite obvious, it's quite clear. However, beyond St. John, there's St. Joseph, who has a very deplorable road network. St. Thomas has an extremely deplorable road network. St. Andrew, where currently the Chinese compliant company is undertaking road construction within the Scotland district region. I think a total of $400 million worth. Uh, we need further investment, uh, Barbadians, because how often do we drive through our neighborhoods and the potholes and the various challenges the roads hamper us? But when we hit by the highway, it's smooth sailing. And how many times have we seen a government dig up a completely good road or dig up a completely good highway to repave that highway? And in my estimation, that is a waste of money, that is a waste of resources, right? And I also see it as a way to give government money for free. So I would ask any of you guys on here for a perspective on a road program that both incorporates, yes, the major traveled roads, but also within communities, right? So you could even go as far as suggesting like a concrete road program, right? A concrete road program uh, within certain rural districts and away from the town areas. Smaller roads. There were some sample concrete roads done. I think under the UNAFA regime, and they're quite still intact today. So, how practical do you guys see that as being a solution to the challenges that we face with roads in Barbados?
I see concrete roads program is they are very long lasting and it's tedious at some points in time, depends on the area. But what I think we have to really look at in Barbados when it comes to repair of roads, you have to get basically a network wherever you got or utility companies, right? And I can tell you, most of the major roads that get repaired, it's hurt my heart to see after 2 or 3 months, you find utility company digging up the roads, or you find a situation where you don't get one company that has utilities in the road don't come and actually fix the roads and look after the roads. And that's something you should be done. I think if it's basically, if we have utilities in the roads, which we have like natural petroleum and water authority and those kind of things in the earth, I think that there should be a program where they set the pace of where they are going to start doing most of their repairs. And then you would have the roadworks come behind it. Now, a prime example, I was passing on St. George coming up from down Chafet, Charro Bridge. And I mean, that road has been repaired, that is fixed now for nearly 2 weeks. And it still needs paving. So when you get rain, that washes out and that makes it inconvenient for other customers that's using the roadway. And it also make it hard on people's vehicles. So before we look at a road network, we have to get a policy where all of these utility companies come together. There's a situation where I travel overseas and you will see a road will get repaired today. When you pass back in the evening time, you would never believe that that road was damaged or it was fixing because it's all a network. It all gets fixed at the same time. So we have to get the balance. We have to balance things here, right? As the Barbados is a small island, And I think that some of these networks they're doing, sometimes it's a situation where I think the work is dragged out a little too long, right? Once we look at that, we have to look at the companies that's doing the work. There are some companies that does good work. There are some companies that do bad work. We all know that, good and bad. But beyond that, it basically comes down to having proper management of the infrastructure within Barbados itself as it comes to roadworks and utilities, right? And if we don't get that, then when you're going to look at repairing roads, then and then you're coming back and digging them up, and then you got another 2 or 3 months or 2 to 3 weeks, a road is still damaged, and it's pretty bad. Especially most of the residential areas are very bad, very.
Um, you have another person signing on to the live, and this is a female. So I want to let her introduce herself and say why she chose to come on tonight to the new National Party live stream. So good night to you.
Good night, everyone. I chose to come on tonight because we need new leadership, right? And St. John really needs, attention because St. John have been left for far too long without any attention. I mean, from B to D, everyone, they just leave St. John. So I'm glad that we have a new party on stream and we should move forward from here. And I might advise to all people that that want to see Barbados going forward, join the N.N.P and push for us young people and old to have a better Barbados. We need roads like okay, the same roads that you guys were talking about. So that is like in St. John now I can tell you you can have those mill and pave roads or those concrete roads from Colleton, Pothouse. There's an area called Welchtown. You have Sergeant Street. All those roads, horrible, horrible. So my thing is that we need service and we need change. So it is time to do this now.
Right. So in your estimation, um, St. John needs better representation. Um, I am intended to run in St. John. Right. So you're saying to me as the person who wishes to represent St. John, attention needs to be paid to these areas. Um, I'm quite happy to report that we did a lot of work already in terms of championing the cause. It is a championing the cause of the rural networks in St. John. We would have discovered uh, that in Port House, right, we would have discovered in Port House that the road was built without drainage, and the road was
Exactly.
like, the road
The
was
roads are left in a really dilapidated state. You know what is one way in, one way out. Normally, when you come into certain districts, you can come in and like what you call Welchtown, you can go in there and you should be able to get back out through the back road, which would lead you via potholes. Those roads are deplorable, and it is time that the people of St. John get proper representation and we get things done, in various communities wide and across our area. And I
But
thank you for you know doing the change because change is necessary.
yes. Well, I want to, in the meantime, highlight what I just said verbally in terms of advocacy for the road at Port House and to highlight it. We're here on the screen for that, so you can just let me know if you can see my screen right about now. I should be able to see it. So asking persons to just watch this video briefly.
exact spot and say to the people of Port House and to Barbados that the Latin American Development Bank loan the government of Barbados money specifically to fix the entire Pothouse Road.
and install the culverts. And instead of just reinstatement of the road, because of the state of the erosion now, it has to be fully rebuilt. Luckily for us, it was part of the CAF program. And therefore, in other words, we had funding from the Latin American Development Bank for it. So what we're going to do is bring it forward and be able to deal with it, but it can't deal with it unless we deal with the drainage the same time. Because of the scale of
It was also said in election year, January 2022, by the representative for this constituency, Charles Griffith, that the Chinese loaned the government of Barbados money to rehabilitate the Scotland district and roads inclusive of potholes would have been finished based off the two loan facilities that the government of Barbados received to fix potholes road. Now, I saw the clips, I saw the pictures, and the pictures, according to the government, insinuated that the entire road of potholes was done. Now, I walked this road from the top to the bottom, and this road is half done. That this road has no drains in it. So therefore, when the water floods off the hill, people's houses and galleries are being destroyed and their livelihoods are being destroyed based off the fact that the government of Barbados went ahead and half paved the road without putting adequate drainage in place.
deal with it, but it can't deal with it unless we deal with the drainage the same time. Because of the scale of
So I'm just here to remind you, Barbadians, that we have a wastage of taxpayers' money going on, and the fact that we had two different law facilities to be able to do Powell's Road, and the road is half done. Where there's so many craters and potholes, but the money allocated has been spent to fix this road. While the road has been half done, while the representatives and the Prime Minister came here and gave us misinformation that the entire road was done, I checked it out and the road has not been done. So I'm urging transparency. I'm urging also for the government to come out and fix the road completely. And I'm also urging for you to tell us how the monies have been spent to fix Potholes Road, but Potholes Road is half done. Thank you very much.
So there you have it. There you have it. It's basically the same problem that we discussed. Right? And there you have the factual representation of it for all and sundry to see. Right?
Not only roads that we need bus services. You know, the people of St. John deserve better bus services. You know, um, the people of St. John need better bus services. Honestly, when you have old people in their 70s and 80s and they have to walk with groceries and all type of stuff coming into those districts, imagine potholes, no bus. You have to get off at the top by St. John's Primary School. We no longer have that. And you have to get off from there and walk to the bottom of potholes where the garbage truck had turned over. You can imagine walking from there, you know, that long distance with all those bags. It's heartbreaking. It is definitely heartbreaking. I mean, all the districts coming from Baflan, Welchtown, potholes, oh, it's heartbreaking. You look around, the roads, the roads are deplorable. Service for us, horrible. I'm telling you, we need like an overhaul for St. John. So I'm praying that you would come now because you've been doing work, you know, for about 3 years or so. You've been doing good work. So I'm praying now that would come and do the balance for St. John, because we need proper representation.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. There are many other issues that we could raise, and I am willing to take on those issues as I have been doing. Um,
Agriculture.
yeah. And but we're saying is great for the constituency. Right? It's great for St. John. It's great for the community. You know, the people in Welch, the people in Bath, the people in God. It's great for the community. However, we are at the level of formulating a political party, the new National Party of Barbados. So the same exact vision, like a futuristic vision that we're developing for our constituency, um, we also have to articulate a national vision for the people of Barbados to possibly buy into and to take the party as a serious political party. So what does the N.N.P say about the future of Barbados? The new National Party says that the future of Barbados rests heavily on the younger generation's genius and their ability to dream and conceptualize and achieve new and sustainable ideals, and to reverse, you know, the negative social and economic and political trends plaguing the country right now. Right. The party also says that establishing alternate routes and avenues to nurture the best minds and skills within Barbadian society, right, under New People's Republic of Barbados, you know, proposing that the people of Barbados should be allowed to vote for the president of the country. Right? So Barbados, being a newly minted republic, we don't have a Republican constitution at the moment. Right? And we're looking at the future, but we don't have a base, we don't have a foundation in this thing that we call a republic. My research has shown me that the people of Barbados believe that the office of president should be an elected office by the people of Barbados. So the new National Party is proposing as one of its main planks and policies that we would commit to having democracy brought to Barbados, and saying that the people of Barbados should be allowed to vote for whoever is the president of Barbados. So, I want your guys' opinion on this. What do you guys think? I haven't heard Fabian for the night, so I want to hear from him. You're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Hi, good night. Well, I feel like everybody in Barbados should vote for a new president, because I feel that if you get a president picked by a prime minister or whoever, that everybody mostly like adhere to that person. So I feel if you get a president that we pick for a president, you'll get better results from that person. So that's my feeling about it.
Definitely.
And another thing that I want to plug a topic onto, but we're talking about pension now, pension age and things like I realize that politicians do politicians do a two-term, and then it's minute they're not getting pension for the whole life thing. What other government workers and what's not who are work 33 and 30 years or work to 67 to get their pension. And you feel that pension is not coming back down too.
Yes, agree with you, Fabian.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments from Joseph Gadaga?
As you're looking at the issues with St. John with the roads, we're looking at the bus service. All right, so you're looking at a new national vision for all Barbados. And then you have Fabian, you were talking about the pension. You see, it is I find it very hard to really see that this such a small and have so much issues. How long will it be? How long will the people in this country be suffering under former leadership and present leadership? There has to be something that needs changing. And I'm saying to everybody that even looking at the new National Party Barbados, I think that the structure that's coming is going to be something new and improved. It is the technology structure. We got to look at the youths. We got to get them involved. We need some of the elder people as mentors to come on board and also, to help with this system. Because as a young party going forward, you have your work cut out, but I can still say you can do it because I have been actually doing a lot of monitoring with the stuff you have done, Kemar, and I think with these issues that was brought up tonight, I think they're actually you can handle them. For me, basically, I had a couple of issues that I saw going forward, and I know that they can be well looked after. Uh, what I want to put out there is that all the young people out there, this is your chance. This is your opportunity to step up to the plate. We know we have a lot of people saying that a party could come along, you're coming along, you're the same old thing, you're gonna be like the other parties, is this and that. But until you get involved with a new national party, then you will be able to see a vision and you'll be able to see what's being put forward. For me, I had some priorities on my list, which I'm going to put them across now. Where that anyone out there have issues, which you're young, you're old, step up, because we have to look at not only the infrastructure of every parish in Barbados, not only the infrastructure of St. John every parish, we also have to look at gun and violence and crime prevention. That's one. We got to look at the cost of living and the inflation, which is two. Healthcare accessibility and efficiency. That's a drastic thing. And you know what? Over the last couple of months, when I was doing some research on myself, after we had some discussions previously, me and some other people about Barbados, healthcare, to say that no government has ever had a chance to get healthcare fixed. That's been a major problem in this country for years, years. Then they look at transportation was another problem for years. Those are the two major things that they cannot get fixed. But I want to tell you, there's a lot of ideas I have. There's a lot of solutions I have. I'm not only giving you guys problems, I'm telling you about solutions also. There are solutions I have which will come out. I go on, I said job creation, entrepreneurship, especially for the youths. Education reform and skills training. That is something of great importance because why? I have listened to a lot of youngsters that start in small businesses in Barbados, and I ask them, why you start a small business for? What's your goals? What's your vision? Would you want to see yourself short term or long term? And I find that some of them, a few of them has good ideas, but it needs to put in a better structure for them. Right? And that's something we need. Uh, when you look at the environment, now we always talk about the environment with the blue economy and the green economy and all this funding coming for it. But when you look at the condition of the roads in Barbados and you look at the condition of the beaches, that is a whole different ball game. We want to know where are the government putting these fundings in? What is being done? So we need some youth them to come up and give us, come with some ideas on the plate. And even the ones people that who's looking at it and saying to themselves, "Oh, the N.N.P is the new party here today, gone tomorrow." Put forward some issues. Let me see what you can come with, and let me see what you can put on the plate. Join the party, you know, build. Here is an opportunity where I look at it as you have a lot of problems in this country. You want to see the problem solved. This is a party that is dedicated for the people, which is things will be done for the people and by the people. So we come together. And I want to say it a long time ago, years ago, when I was in university, they always say, Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country, because the government is the people. You only put them there to manage the affairs so you can have a good living. So at the end of the day,
That's
if
right.
you look at it, you got a big problem, and it hurts my heart to see these things happen, right? And I would tell anybody, like a young person like myself, years ago, I came up and I see like a lot of mentors. We need some mentors in this country. We need some seriously. And when we're looking at other issues, we got to look at issues where it comes to be like, for instance, I have seen a lot of single mothers with children going to school, and they have adults, fathers, they got single fathers too struggling. So those are issues we got to look at, social issues and the whole infrastructure of this country. So as the N.N.P is a new party, I want everyone to know that N.N.P is a new party, but N.N.P has a lot of advisors, not only in Barbados, outside of Barbados. And there are new things coming, and I'm hoping that everybody will come on board. I'm hoping that people will come to the meetings and they will hear other things that the N.N.P is doing, and you'll hear what the political leader who has been voted by the executive members put him there for. And I know that it can be a big change. That's all.
Yes, well, thank you for that, um, Mr. Cadogan. Um, Let me just state that Barbados as a country collectively has changed drastically since 2018, at levels that many of us still need to understand. So recall that I would have published Alternate Views, the book, Barbados' Economic Road to Republic, extensively detailing what what those changes within the Barbados society and economy would be like. So any person who read Alternate Views could categorically say today that Alternate Views was like a prophetic book as it relates to where we're at within Barbados' economy. So since 2018, we all know that the country went under an IMF program, and we are at our third IMF program now. Right? We are at our third IMF program now. So we could count the years, right? We could count the years: 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. That is 8 years almost on the IMF dictates, right? 8 years. So what other country in the world went on the three IMF stabilization programs in such a short space of time? Uh, Especially a small island state like Barbados, um, Trinidad, Trinidad. One second. Sorry, Trinidad, Guyana, and Jamaica were all countries that were tied to the British pound. Right? These countries went under the IMF programs. They all had currency devaluations. Right? They all had currency devaluations, and all of these countries had substantially more resources than Barbados has. Right? They had oil, they had bauxite, alumina, um, forestry, natural flowing water, um, substantially way more resources than Barbados. Right? Look at Guyana now returning to glory. Right? Trinidad not so glorious. Jamaica's now restoring some of its fortunes after significant IMF adjustment. Right? But three IMF programs, and why we are going to three IMF programs is simply because we did not complete the first two. So you had to have three to complete, the targets and complete the agreements, because despite what's being said, the government knows well that they are not meeting some of these IMF targets. And one key IMF target that they did not meet, one key IMF target that they did not meet, and this bids well for transparency, is the fact that government was intended to put a public register of contracts in place at what they call KIPO. This was in the IMF agreement, one of the first IMF agreements signed in 2018, and then later on the Public Financial Management Act was passed in the Parliament of Barbados, and it was also stipulated within the Public Financial Management Act that this public register of contracts is this public register of contracts was intended to be, as a legally mandated register. Right? Now today we still don't have that register, but still we see it reported in the news constantly that the government meets all of its IMF targets. That's simply one failure. Right? The fact that we continue to borrow at absurd rates, right? Foreign debt. The fact that we continue to borrow foreign debt at the rate that we're borrowing it at signifies that our main money earner, tourism, is not earning us significant amounts of money to be able to suffice and maintain Barbados at the level that it currently runs. So therefore we have to have a greater appetite for borrowing. Right? So these are the end results, or these are the results of restructuring a political economy, right? And there are other things that you have to look for. So high public debts, continue high taxation levels on the masses, right? No tax reductions in sight. We hardly receive any tax reductions over the last 8 years. Like, we're seeing more privatizations and the sale of state-owned enterprises, right? We're seeing that more, right? We're seeing a growing cost of interest, right? Interest rates going up on the country, and the country having to fork out more money in interest than usual. So the government, by the governor of the central bank, recently said that government paid out over $2.2 billion in interest payments in his last report. What does a small country like Barbados, and how well does it serve us to be paying out 2.2 billion? Again, we do not earn revenue. Our government does not earn revenue from oil or bauxite or the sale anything. It earns revenue from taxation. So if you pay out 2.2 billion of taxpayers' money in just interest alone on debt, could you foresee now where you would have problems in society? Could you foresee now the drawing back of resources to go to debt payments? And this comes from the fact that in 2018 we signed on to the IMF program. And we're not getting out anytime soon. So high cost of living, high inflation. We all know the cost of living in Barbados is extremely high, symptom of the IMF experience. The erosion of workers' rights, and the undermining of the trade union movement. We see it clearly. The General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union sits in Parliament right now. The General Secretary of and this is for the ruling party. So the General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union favors the government, and you can see it reflected in the decisions that the union takes, where their loyalty lies. So in an environment where workers' rights are being eroded and government is abusing, legislative power to change up the rules of the public service and change up how government operates and put, high-level civil servants on contracts and restructuring the civil service and restructuring the labor legislation to favor more businesses. In that type of environment, capital takes favor over the people of the country. And we're seeing that right now in Barbados. Right? So, ironically enough, the heads of the two major trade unions in Barbados, the National Union of Public Workers and the Barbados Workers Union. Both of these unions are on the ruling government's side as we speak. Right? Look at the national insurance and pension reform. I think Fabian mentioned about pension reform. Pension age is set to be increased soon, which says that the people of Barbados are going to be working substantially longer, taxed higher because the contribution rates are going up, and more than likely you're going to have to work until you die. Right? Now,
That's true.
yes. So now this pension reform is meant to keep money within the system, right? Keep people working longer, keep money within the system, and to stop payouts or significant payouts to pensioners when they become due.
So
Now,
true.
where the new National Party um, is becoming solutions oriented with that is that the National Insurance Fund of Barbados, through the fact that the government changed it over to a statutory board, which is basically privatization, to allow for a more liberal stance on how the NAS spends its money, to allow the NAS to invest in more profitable ventures. Right? Um, the new National Party is saying that projects like the APSL project and projects that the NAS, even like the fire station, projects that the NAS is investing in substantial millions. The NAS is the people's money. So if you're investing the people's money in these type of more private projects, while carrying up pension age, while carrying up contribution rates, right? While changing the severance legislation to extend the period so people can't get paid severance, right? That signifies that you know government of the day is no longer on the people's side. Right? We also need to look at, I'm going to warn on these last 2 points, basically how Barbados should seek out access to alternate financing. Right? So people ask, so if you don't borrow, what are you going to do? Right? If you don't borrow money, what are you going to do? Raise taxes. So the new National Party is saying to the public of Barbados that we intend to have a plan looking at Barbados's access to finances. So who are Barbados's creditors? Who did we borrow from over the last 8 years? And what is the future as it relates to access to finance? Who will be the major lenders of finances going forward for the future? So as we speak, we see the emergence of the African Exim Bank in Barbados. We see the emergence of the Chinese Exim Bank in Barbados. We see the IMF coming in. We see the World Bank coming in. We see the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development coming in. Uh, we see the Green Climate Fund coming in as well, giving the government access to financing. Well, they're also saying that we intend to return to investment markets, to be able to borrow on the private markets after being banned by the international markets due to the debt default. Due to the debt default that was made on Barbados debt in 2018 after the change of government. Our first ever debt default, our only ever debt default in the history of Barbados, caused us to be banned from international credit markets. And despite all of the credit upgrades that you hear about, despite all of the upgrades and upgrades by this notches, and you hear the governor of the bank, you hear the politicians, you hear the social media activists all speaking about these upgrades. But the fact remains we are still banned from those markets because of that default, and we were still not granted access as yet. And if you can recall, the Prime Minister said that the reason for her uh, handing over to Restaurant, and try to create room for Restaurant in the Ministry of Finance. But she has not handed over the full portfolio to Restaurant because she wants to go on the road and spearhead the movement for Barbados to return investment, to credit markets, to those investment credit markets. That was said during the budget time. So all of those factors connecting, bubbling up in Barbados, along with the crime and other issues, um, we need some solutions to those problems. And the new National Party is proposing solutions. We're going to have our manifesto out. We're going to have our manifesto out in time, but we're proposing solutions to those various problems that we just listed. So any of those particular issues jump out at any of you guys on the live tonight?
Right?
What really jumps out to me here tonight is that the national debt. That's something that we have to look at. The debt of this country that is in to all different institutions, from the IMF, Inter-American Development Bank, to the Caribbean Development Bank, and also locally. And we have to look at that because that's something that we have to pay back. And by getting into all these IMF programs and no money being paid back, we have to look at interest rates. So when we look at it, our children, grandchildren look like they'll be paying back this debt. So we have to look at that. That's something that the N.N.P will look at, and with help from international people giving us advice, giving advice across the board, I think we can do a well job. You know, everything that will help, because there's a lot of people there who like to help this party because this party is young and it's going towards the youth, and that's what we need. That's what we need across, especially in the Caribbean region. And I hope that by saying that I also had this vision that St. John was always after we went. St. John was always a well party that is people has been let down for a long time, and I hope that they will look and make some solid change, and also look and stay behind the N.N.P party, right? And by me saying that, then I would have a closing remark when the time comes. Thank you.
Okay, one more thing I want to add. Um, we're gonna have to do some serious reform in agriculture. You have to start with the little ones, and like training them from small, and going right up in age. You have also to put in like the land space for people to farm, because farming brings in loads of money, income, that and sustainability. So we want to see things like that happen. So with the N.N.P, I'm hoping that we can push that narrative and go forward. You know, food security for family and future.
Well, my real concern is I wonder if we got to be really borrowing all this type of money that we borrow from the IMF all the time. We borrow money, and then like we talking money like we was getting money from like road tax, source tax, and I bring in billions of dollars. If we get all this money from these things, what we got to borrow such money like this all the time, like that all the time. That don't make sense to me at all.
The other thing is, who's going to pay it back? Is our children going to go back to slavery?
Mm-hmm. All the time it's every born getting money from the road tax and source tax and that kind of thing. That money can help with the country. We ain't got to borrow all this type of money all the time like this all the time.
Well, I think basically from all of your issues as road tax and everything, I can say to you personally that the NNP NNP party has a very good leader, uh, Kemar Stuart, very good, excellent in economics and management. He's in, he does a lot of things around the island, and I know that with him and the other people behind him, that that all those issues can be addressed. We would address those issues in the time coming. You know, it's that we can't address it just in one night or one day. We would address it over a period of time. There are going to be some solutions going to put in, and then there are going to be decisions made from there once this party gets on the board. We need a voice, though. We need a voice in Parliament, and I know by going forward, this can be forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. To respond to the question of agriculture, we really need a feed the nation program. Barbados and the CARICOM countries agreed to cut the food import bill by 25%, I believe, um, from external sources. However, Barbados, however, Barbados has large tracts of land just sitting idle, like,
Yeah.
just sitting idle. Someone says we need to up our communications and public relations. Could you define what that may mean? That is a very vague statement. So, yeah, as I was saying, we need a feed the nation program where we look at agriculture in a serious way. During COVID, agriculture was the only sector to grow, and we neglected agriculture again to put all of our eggs mainly in, you know, mainly in
Yeah.
wait, tourism. So agriculture, what is agriculture? What is the vision for agriculture? What do we need when we say agriculture? Everybody needs to eat, but it is what we grow, you know. Sugarcane was our main sugarcane was our main source of revenue. We made some deep transitions out of the sugar industry. Right now, we have an impasse between the government and core energy. Um, and the government is trying to get out of the sugar industry because of, again, involvement in the IMF program and agreeing with the IMF that, you know, they're going to get out of the sugar industry. So the initial point we made is that the stringent nature of the IMF program is taking Barbados in a different trajectory. So therefore, we need to refocus uh, back home. We focus more inward. We focus on cutting the food import bill. However, in cutting the food import bill, the people of the country may become dissatisfied because we were introduced to variety and choice, not different brands, different varieties, different styles. So, in trying to reduce that level of consumption or those consumption patterns, there will be different interested parties within society crying out, right? Because they may lose money and they may be losing money. But there comes a time in the country, similar to how Ibrahim Traore had to, uh, take a firm stand. Now we are seeing tractors in Burkina Faso. We are seeing
That's true.
within the agricultural industry, and he is forging ahead with a proper structured plan to develop the agricultural law of Burkina Faso. So not just Barbados, but I think CARICOM as a collective needs to come together and look at how we properly feed ourselves for the future of the region.
It's true.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you
I
so
wanted to
much.
go back to something you said there earlier there, where I think it was Peeway 36 says you need to up your communication and public relations. I think what they were trying to say is basically that we need to be more sending out more communication and be more vocal into the public on the party, if that's what they were trying to say. To me, that's how I get the message there because I just looked at it and saw it. What I want that P 36 to remember that is that this is a new party. We know structuring. We got everything in structure. After the when you see the media launch, then you will see the party go into a 360-degree full launch and full things are happening. There's a lot to come, and I want you to just keep locked on to N.N.P. and you will see that we are serious about this. This is not a party for overnight. This is a party for long term. It's a long term thing we're looking at. So I appreciate that. Over to you, Kemar.
Yes, well, so for those persons who don't know, um, the formation of the new National Party of Barbados occurred on the 28th of April, and that was just a week ago. No, not too long ago. We got a couple of newspaper articles. However, I do not expect that the N.N.P will be plastered all over Barbados. Um, you know, that's just not how it would work, and that's just not how it would not work that way. Um, any new political party should give themselves the time to formulate properly, to structure themselves properly, and to deliver a proper alternative to the people of the country. Right? So, notwithstanding, the new national party is not a party that has um, backroom donors. We don't accept large envelopes from people. Um, we don't receive any, kickbacks or anything like that. So everything we intend to do, uh, will be above board and will be by the people with the level of transparency that we expect if we had to be given the opportunity to form, government at some point in time in the future. So the formation of the party occurred. This is a Nation newspaper article, and it reads: former General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party and 2022 election candidate for the city, Kemar Stuart, today announced the formation of the new National Party, N.N.P. Barbados. In their press statement issued on Monday, the N.N.P's executive confirmed Stuart's appointment as political leader and spokesperson. Stuart, who is 30 years old, is expected to lead the party as it prepares for its official launch, which has not come as yet. The statement reads that this statement announces the formation of the new National Party as a political institution in the country of Barbados, and the party's executive wishes to appoint Mr. Kemar J.D. Stuart as interim political leader and spokesperson of the N.N.P. They also indicated that details regarding the in-person launch and press conference will be shared via the party's social media platform. The N.N.P seeks to bring new voices, new vision, and a new generation for national progress to Barbados. And that was on the 28th of April. We issued out a brochure, which would have articulated some of what we intend to bring to the people of Barbados. And so far, the feedback has been good. Um, we had persons on earlier, like Mr. Outram. He's now dropped off, so I don't know if he's well, but we have some other people in the back, many younger people in the back, who are lining up and volunteering to support. So let me also issue the clarion call to the public, the general public, and to say this upfront: the new national party is a new organization. It is a new party. It is now formulating itself to respond to the needs of the people of Barbados. And therefore, we cannot be held to the same standards as the Barbados Labour Party or the Democratic Labour Party. And we strive to differentiate ourselves from all two of them. This is different. This is new. Those are the past, and the N.N.P is looking at the future and building up what a future and better society will be like for the people of this country as we move forward. So, with society constantly changing in Barbados, with the the population of Barbados is dropping. You heard it from the acting minister of education today, Sandra Husbands. You heard it that the population is dropping. You see the emergence of different groups in society. So you see the Muslim population of Barbados, the Indian Muslim population of Barbados. There's a Jewish population in Barbados. There's the change in the guard in the private sector. Right? There's the emergence of the Unity Workers Union, led by the General Caswell Franklin. Right? So there are many emergent ventures happening in 2025 that is changing the landscape of Barbados. And we are going to need to create a Barbados. We're going to need to create a Barbados that will fit all of these various groups because we cannot discriminate for the future. Right? There are various forms of human life in Barbados, and we need to be able to work with all. We need to be able to work with everybody. The church, the mosque, the synagogue, the temple, the Rastafari community. So, with that being said, the next to Rasta Lumumba and Bonga Lakes and the entire Rastafari community. Good night to them. Good night to the Muslim community of Barbados. Good night to the white community of Barbados. Good night to the Jewish community of Barbados, the Hindu community of Barbados, the African community in Barbados, the regional CARICOM community in Barbados. Because Barbados has evolved. And here's an emergent venture called the New National Party that is willing to rise to those challenges and provide solution to the evolution of Barbados.
Well said, Kemar. Very well said.
Of course, I would love for you all to just, join N.N.P, see what we have to offer, and we would go forward from there. We have, a lot of good things on focus. So just bear with us, work with us, and we will go forward together.
So, if you're interested in joining the New National Party, you can sign up by application form. We circulated the application form on WhatsApp, so you could request the application form if you message the party's phone number, which is 846-9912, and you can request it. You print it, and you could submit it. We would collect the application form from you. Application fees are 30 Barbados dollars, and that is a yearly subscription. That is a yearly subscription. So you join up the party, and then we introduce you to the inner structures of the party, our plans, the different proposals for committees, what we're looking to do for constituencies, right? Because the primary focus of any political institution should be the constituency. Right? You need to be with the people. You need to focus on the people first and foremost, and take care of the people, and anything else after. So part of the party's programming and plans. 1 second, please. Oh, that technical glitch. Right. So where was I? Yes. So in terms of joining the New National Party, We want to put our structures in place. So we have the executive in place, and we're seeking to further build the party out. So we require members to sign up, join up the party. Let us get, we have the group chat growing nice. Um, and the executive is often meeting and trying to formulate ideas and plans. There will be committees rolled out so persons can send CVs to us. The email for the party is N.N.P Barbados at Gmail. Right? N.N.P Barbados at Gmail. So you can get us at Gmail, send your CV to our Gmail at N.N.P Barbados at Gmail. So we could see, your expertise and see where we could be able to fit you within the program. You could also request the party's brochure if you wish. The brochure has been refurbished. Right. The brochure has been refurbished and made more reader friendly, so you will definitely get a copy of it so you can peruse it and see the vision. We're not just speaking it, but we also have the vision on paper that you can read in your leisure time and shoot us questions if you have any questions. So to get in contact with us once more, Fabian, could you mute your mic, please? Yes. Okay, so to get in contact with us, um, again, once more, that Gmail account is nnpbarbados at gmail.com. WhatsApp on 846-9912. Instagram at New National Party Barbados _ and Facebook at New National Party Barbados on Facebook. And you can contact us, reach out to us, and let us get the movement going. We're also extending the clarion call for persons who are interested in being candidates as well on the platform. Right? So for those persons who are interested in becoming a candidate for the party, send us, a brief write-up of yourself, a CV, a history, so we can get a read-up, any community work that you did. Let me just say that the New National Party is not a party who will be focusing heavily on persons who have higher education. This is a diverse party, and we're seeking to have a mixture of persons in the ring. So we'll be seeking skilled persons as well as intellectual persons. So you don't necessarily need a degree to be a candidate for the New National Party. You don't necessarily need CXCs. You just need to have, the people at heart, being able to represent a constituency and to be able to articulate the issues as they affect you, affect the constituency, affect the people of Barbados. And we are going by the laws of Barbados as it relates to candidacy and not attempting to put hurdles in the way of those people who may want to step forward and represent Barbados. There are already enough hurdles existing within the traditional two-party system, which block out people who want to serve. And I find that the two-party system has become very elitist, where there's a preference for persons who are only attorneys at law, and persons who carry these high-profile degrees and often forgetting what true representation is. Right? So we need to return the power to the people, and we need to say to the people that they're not only good for votes. Right? We need to say to the people that they're not only good for votes. So we will go to people and ask them to vote for you, but in return you wouldn't vote for them. Right? So I think that needs to come to an end. So those persons who are interested in becoming a candidate for the party, just send us that CV. Again, nnpbarbados@gmail.com. Let us have some conversation. Let us see what you want to offer to Barbados, and our platform is seeking to bring new and fresh national leadership to Barbados. Anything from you, Mr. Cadogan?
Yes, what I would like to say is for our listeners there, I'd like them to know that, today marks a new chapter, new democracy. The new National Party is just not another political option, right? We are a movement for meaningful change. We are here to return integrity and transparency and accountability to the public. We are here to put interests of the people first, not just during election campaign, but every single day. And last but not least, I would like everyone to know our mission is simple: to serve, to uplift, and to rebuild Barbados into a nation where opportunities is not a privilege for the few, but a right for all. Thank you.
Yes. So I had a very good day today on the road, um, doing some work with alternate views, but we'll get to that in a short bit. So let us acknowledge some of the persons who are on the live tonight. Let us acknowledge the persons who took the time to come on to our first live stream tonight. So let me just, put some of these persons up. So we have Simon Aline, who said good night, Kemar and the N.N.P. Good night to you, Simon. Simon is now a member of the uh, Barbados Labour Party.
Good night,
Simon was
Simon.
also, yeah,
Very
Simon
good.
was also a member of the Democratic Labour Party as well, even serving at the level of vice president. He also left the party, and yeah. So this is a platform, that's open to all and sundries, these, it doesn't matter. We're not necessarily focusing on political labels. This is a space for all Barbadians, of all classes, creeds, and colors to come on and share, real life perspectives so we can get real life solutions to the challenges that they're facing. So Tyrone Nurse is saying good night. Welcome, Kemar. Good night to all of the guests. So thank you, Tyrone Nurse. Square 4 is saying good night, Kemar. The topic a good one, Political Tuesday. So good night to you. Good night to Ronald Roach. Yeah, good night to Ronald Roach. GMO said great point. I believe you meant that to Joseph. Winston Clark is saying Assalamu alaikum. Others are coming on. So good night to you, Winston Clark. Rhonda Paris is saying good night, everyone. So good night to Rhonda. Pedro, greetings. Pedro is saying greetings. And Welsh is saying first time I'm here with this party. Thought Kemar was part of the DLP. Kemar is no longer part of the DLP. Kemar is now the leader of the and founder of the new National Party of Barbados. The new National Party. So let me put it up on the screen for you to see. Right here, the new National Party is the party that Kemar Stuart now leads and is associated with. Yes. Now, there are going to be a lot of first timers now hearing about it, as in the name it is new. So we want to encourage everyone to share the message, share what you're hearing tonight. If it sounds like, you're onto something, it may need a little refining here, a little touching up here, um, yeah, new national party. That's what it's all about. So Jamal said, yes, I'm manufacturing and processing plants in agriculture, factories. Um, Pedro said, Kim, I have to give you a knock on your knuckles for a clip I saw today. Well, my brother, if it's something I did, well, I did it. No, I will seek your forgiveness. if it's something totally out the way. Pedro Jam is saying agriculture eliminates hunger and poverty. Pete Ray said, I agree with the last few sentences from Kemar. No, I wanted to show you a clip here, but it's not working out. The internet is fairly slow tonight. So let's get, yes, the internet is fairly slow tonight, so I'm not seeing that screen. But I want to ask you guys on here, what do you want in a representative? What do you see a representative? You know, who do you want to represent you? You know, what is your ideal person for a representative when you go to vote? You know, what or who are you voting for? Anybody could respond.
Well, I'll be looking for a leader that is strong, courageous, truthful, and for the people. Somebody that is for the people, not someone that you're going to see now when it's election time, and then they don't want anything to do with the people after that. So I am looking for you, Kemar, because I know what you can do, and you can. Let me tell you, you love people, and I'm advising everyone come over to the N.N.P and let us see what new and improved leadership is about with Kemar Short.
Yes, thank you for the vote of confidence. So yes, you heard it. St. John is the constituency that we're definitely contesting for. The new National Party. Um, as we approve additional persons along the way for candidacy, we will allow you to know who they are. However, we are taking our time as candidate selection is a very precarious situation. It has to be done right. Um, and when I say done right, we could make a practical observation in terms of the by-election in St. James North. Like, in terms of the by-election in St. James North. Now, persons often like to say, right? Persons often like to say that you should come from a constituency. You should come from a constituency that you want to represent. Persons often say that, right? And even in St. John constituency, the accusation was that this was around 2018. This is how the government candidate won last time. That the person was a St. John Porter, and the current government got on there and criticized, how about you bringing somebody who doesn't live in the constituency, and they use that. Or you bring somebody from St. Thomas, and you bring somebody from here, you bring somebody from there to represent the constituency. But if you look at the candidates in the St. James North by election, Charles Blackman is not from St. James North. Felicia Dujon is not from St. James North. And, well, Alex Mitchell, no. I am unsure at this point about the other lady who I saw enter the race. But we would observe and see. So the argument about persons not living in a constituency or being from the constituency but still running in the constituency, I am here to say to you tonight, Barbadians, if any of the traditional political party players come to you next election with a criticism about candidates not being from a constituency, let's reference the St. James North by election and gently remind them that neither Chad nor neither Dujon was from St. James North, but they're still running it. Hey, so that knocks the argument out the window. That knocks the argument out the window, right? that knocks the argument out the window about having to be, from within the constituency to properly represent it. Because anytime you're aspiring to be a leader and to have leadership, you need to think about the country, you need to think about those in CARICOM because your decisions will also impact them as well. So if you win a constituency and you happen to get in government, you cannot only be a minister for your constituency. Right? There are other people in Barbados who will require your assistance as a minister of government. Right? And you have to be flexible enough to get around and deploy the government's resources in a sustainable and effective way. Not to exclude persons or malign persons, but to prioritize, um, moving forward. Now, I went on the road today, as I said, and I went to St. George Secondary today. I don't know how many of you saw the video I uploaded today on YouTube. And this is alternate views now. And I went to St. George Secondary. I set the common entrance exam at St. George Secondary in around 2006. So it was very nostalgic to be there and, using the word of one of the interviewees to, be there in support of the students who set the exam. So we often heard or we're hearing about common entrance exam. And it's very interesting to recognize that in the St. James North by election, you have the Minister of Education and you have the spokesperson on education contesting for the seat. So that's a very interesting dynamic to observe. Now, my question on education would be, what is the future of the 11 plus in Barbados? What would the new National Party do about the 11 plus in Barbados? Right. Now you have the Minister of Education saying that it is his intention to scrap the 11 plus. Right. And he was on record constantly saying that his government intends to scrap the 11 plus. But still today, I still went down to St. George Secondary School to observe students sitting the 11 plus. Right? And the removal of the 11 plus was a heavily marketed policy of the government. And still in 2025, students are sitting the 11 plus. On the other hand, the other institution is saying, well, let me not say the other institution is saying because I've never heard a forceful point yet from the spokesperson on the 11 plus as to what is the position of the party on it. The leader has said that the 11 plus should be kept. Right? The 11 plus should be kept. Now the new National Party is saying that continuous assessment should be made available. Right? Continuous assessment should be made available as it relates to the common entrance exam. Right? So not forcing the young people of Barbados to go through a very narrow window, and that very narrow window is mathematics, English, and composition. Now, if a young person feels that the three of these, then they're considered to not be, viable for society. They're considered not bright, and hardly any attention is paid to those persons who are then tossed into the public school and they stay there languishing until 16, and then 16, then they're out on the road, and 16, and then they're out on the road, and not much happens for them after. So you have a huge set of the youth population, right, not passing or barely passing the common entrance exam, right, coming through the secondary school system, being expelled at 16 without, the qualifications or so, and these people are living in society. Like, so, is there any correlation to the criminal activity we see happening and the scourge of crime right now? Is there any correlation to the two? Hey, and so these are different dynamics that we want to look at as an institution in terms of bringing practical solutions, to the problem, the connection that the school system has to society. Like what we're teaching our students now, what are we programming them for later? Are we teaching them the right skills? And you look at what is happening abroad. Yes, we look at different curriculums of the fastest growing economies in the world. You'll see that there's a drastic difference in what we teach in our public school system in Barbados compared to what is taught in different various countries. Like Barbados is still very much behind time with the emergence of technology and other developments within this space, and with larger countries abolishing the 11 plus. Like, with larger countries abolishing 11 plus, and Barbados holding on to the 11 plus because there is this perception that the 11 plus is a good save, or it gives um, people who come from the lower social classes the opportunity to become something or to make something of themselves. If they pass for a good school, on the older schools, get CXCs and go on, the Harrison College, the Queen's College, the Commonwealth, um, is associated with the status in society. It, it goes much further than that. So it goes on to the degree level at university. Higher the education levels you go, the higher you're respected in society. So maybe we need to rethink and refocus these futures. So let us hear something from you guys. What do you think?
like what you feel that you go through that learning today? I feel like sometimes like okay, some children might be good at English or math or kids, but some children might be good at learning like masonry, carpentry, and these things they got to start teaching children. Because some of the children not really educated on that term, but some of them really like got brothers that take like or sisters that they could do like nursery, care plans, different kind of things. So you got to teach them children on those things. 'Cause all children can be learning educated from one thing. Some children could be learning like carpentry, masonries, could be an electric, could be a doctor. So you got to teach them children some children on these things too.
We will call more remedial programs
Yes,
and more reform for special needs students and so on. I
exactly.
probably okay. I missed some of the points, so I apologize. Go ahead, Joseph. I think you'll be better able to
Um,
answer that.
I'm looking at everyone is talking about educational reform and in the system. I've heard some people says we've been in this educational system running for years. They've done good for this person. This person did it. They did well. They come good, and that's it. Yes, educational in Barbados was good back then, and it made a great way. But I am a person like this. I met a lot of people and I talked to people about this educational reform system also. And some people like to see things better, right? Education in Barbados was heading the right way when Barbados first introduced edutech, but that apparently that was a failure, and we all know why that was a failure. That's something that I would not like to elaborate on, because it's bring back bad taste of memory of poor management financially. Right now, in educational in this country, Barbados, a lot of emphasis is being placed on common entrance, a lot of pressure, peer pressure on children and going to school. And I saw a lady today talking about, looking at children who go to primary school, looking at their marks from there, and also placing them in schools. I was educated in this country, the primary school, but I mean, I was educated overseas in Canada, and their system runs, it's a whole different because you go to primary school and you get to a certain age, you move on to secondary school. When you move into secondary school, then you have subjects you have to take, you have to pass those subjects. So, in other words, as we go into grade 9, as we call it in Canada, grade 9, 10, 11, 12, and you go into 13 is university. In grade 9, you do something like 8 subjects. You can look at a semester system where you do 4 subjects for a certain time of the year. Then you got a free break in between there. Then you can do the other 4 subjects in the other half of the school term. And that works good because I was in both systems, which is a semester system and the general system where you have to do 8 subjects for the whole day. You move and go to different classes and that kind of stuff. And I think that in Barbados right now, we should be looking at not only basing it about how you feel in Barbados, you got to look at it internationally. You got to look at an international thing. Like Fabian talk about different things with carpentry and that kind of stuff. Yes, they have a technical program here, which is I hear it was very good. I haven't really checked it out, but it's good. That's something you got to look at too. But also in secondary schools, as I can see, when you're going through secondary school, you're taking subjects. You have something where you take your selective subjects, math, English, then you do history, you do geography, then you do elective subjects like home economics, you do physical education, you also do a technical subject. So those are the things you intertwine into the system and you build from there. So you go to different classes and you pass from different classes. But I think this common entrance, as I see it in Barbados, it places a lot of peer pressure on students. Why? Because some students now you can hear a parent saying, "Oh, you better pass for Common Mirror, you better pass for Harvard." So God, those are elite schools and stuff like that. But I think that some other schools produce some real good people. Coles and Parry produce some good people. St. Michael, St. Leonard's
Yeah,
produce good people.
yeah,
Those are the structure you want. And this thing about going to this elite school, I think that wants a sort of a blanket put on it because I find that is not really it. And I want to tell you, I've encountered some students that went to St. Leonard's School speaking very well, doing great, doing good studies. I've met some that went to St. George and do good. I've met them all over because they do a lot of walking around to see. So when they talk about education reform, I think that that's something that it should be open to the public. Let the public say about it. Don't let a minister comes in and sit down and say we can do education reform. He or she put their ideas on the table. That's not it. You take it to the general public. Listen to the public. Listen to the students. I went to 3 secondary schools in Barbados and 2 primary schools, and I can tell you the percentage of students that go to secondary schools in Barbados say it's boring. It's boring.
yeah. Mr. Kalaga, that was an interesting perspective. Very good information you shared there. I want to play this the video from today. The clip.
Correct. Correct.
Um, and
Yeah,
so
go
you
ahead.
can
I would
do,
mute and then I would come back and finish off. Go ahead.
yeah, we're gonna wrap up after this, because we not going on too much after 9. Yeah,
Good morning, Kemar Stuart here. I am standing St. George Secondary. Today is the day for the common entrance exam in Barbados. Um, at this school is where we would have sat the common entrance in 2006. So it's very good to be back here to see much younger population setting the exam. Now, we were promised time and time again that the level plus would have been scrapped. So I am asking the question straight up. What is the future of 11 plus in Barbados? We know that the Minister of Education indicated that he uh, is wish to get 11 plus in the scrap. But here we are, yet again, with young Barbadians setting the 11 plus. So what really is the future of this exam? We know that they set maths, English, and composition. Is that relevant in 2025? Should additional assessment be added in the curriculum broadened to determine the future of our children? We really need some answers and look into the future with technology and other developments, which leads to much easy assistance for young people. We want to know really what is the future of Barbados, what is the future of the 11 plus exam, and we also want to ascertain some feedback from the parents as to how they feel about their children setting the 11 plus exam, if they would want it to be scrapped, or if they would wish for it to continue. Kemar, Stuart, thank you very much.
We're here this morning because we're here to observe and to encourage the children doing the common entrance for 2025.
So, what role will you have played in the lead up to today?
Well, I teach at the St. Luke Brighton Primary School and I'm the class 4 teacher there. So I'm here to support my students and to encourage them to give out their best today.
Any advice for future generations setting the exam?
Oh yes, but I think mine is mainly for the parents. I would like to encourage the parents to make sure you work along with your children. Make sure your children are doing their homework, that they have their homework. Because many times we class teachers we give it and the children say they don't have and it's not done. Also make sure that you keep in close contact with the class teacher, to find out how your child is doing. And just be there and encourage and support. Remember they're watching you, parents, they're modeling you. So be
So
that
true.
good role model.
Any parting comments?
Just to say good luck to everybody.
Yes.
Good luck to everyone.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Please state your name and where you are at St. George Secondary School this morning.
Good morning. My name is Adia Seeley. This is my daughter, Sari Green. We actually brought her younger sister, Naira Green, to do the 11 plus exam this morning.
I don't know. I keep you got it.
This is like nostalgic because I've been here before, obviously. To do the exam. And I'm just really proud of Naira and my whole part. She's really ready. And I'm just excited for whatever like the results. Yeah, we know she will do her very, very best. I think she's prepared. She's a little bit nervous this morning, which is expected, but I think she's ready. I think she's ready to do the exam, and we're just waiting for 1:05 p.m. So she's fighting for free, and we can just go and enjoy the rest of the day.
Do you have any aspirations in terms of school?
I think she wants to go with her sister. Her sister's at QC, so I think she wants to go there.
QC.
Yeah.
We wish her all the best.
Thank you.
One final question. Would you propose any changes to the format of the year?
To the format of the day, I would honestly think that we should really just start looking at how they perform throughout the entire third and fourth form and use that as a guide to their final exam as opposed to making it all about one day because it is very, very stressful. And leading up to this day, there was lessons almost every day throughout the justification. And then, you do your test at school and then you still have a mock exam to do. And it's a lot. And it's a lot for one little person to have to go through. And it's a lot for just one day. You come and you sit down and you're like, if I don't, like her last interview was just like, I can't make a change if I don't get where we want to go today. And as I don't study that, just study the exam. So I think it's a lot of pressure. And I would prefer if we just did third to class 3 to class 4, look at their assessments in all the subjects, and let that be a guide as to where the child should land at the end of the day.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your
You're welcome.
Good.
Good morning. This learning yet? My son said 11 plus today.
So how has that been for you?
Good.
Yeah. So you wish him well. So how do you expect him to
Do the
come up?
best at the exam. I prayed this morning. I think go at the exam. Try your best and come up best at school. The child.
So you have a choice for him or
He wants us to school.
Princess Margaret? Yes.
Also, he wants to school.
both are good schools.
Yeah.
So we wish you all the best. We wish them all the best, and thank you very much.
Same to you.
I just my name just came up off the examination.
Your son is second combination this morning. So how's that experience been for you this morning so far?
Well, the experience he was a bit jittery. He had a bit of tears in his face and stuff. But his dad gave him some encouraging words which calmed him down.
So what preparation led up to the exam day?
Well, he attended a lot of lessons. He did a lot of extra work at home. And
So would you propose any changes to the exam if possible?
no, please, not right now.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We wish your son all the best. But by the way, which school do you want him to go to? Or which school does he go to right now?
He is currently at St. Jude's Primary School.
Yes. And what school do you have for him in mind?
Well, I don't have a school for him, but he wanted to go to the St. Michael School.
Yes, that's a great school. I went to school there. So congratulations and we wish him the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice, Kemar. Very nice.
Yes, guys. So that was my, bit of feedback
Very nice.
today on the convention. So I'm gonna ask you guys to make a parting comment, and then we're going to sign off tonight. So, a quick wrap up, and we're gonna
I would
start
like
with.
to say to everyone that was watching, thanks for coming on and watching and so. And I hope you get your application form, submit to be members of the N.N.P party for the future.
Thank you guys for having me tonight. I truly accept and appreciate being a part of the N.N.P. And, we look forward to a brighter future, for Barbadians worldwide and right here in Barbados with the N.N.P. Thank you.
Good night to everyone on the channel, everyone that watching. I want to say, I want you all to follow this NP very carefully. It's very formal. I want you all to know that we come with new policies, new everything. I want to follow Kemar. Kemar got a good say on this here. You know what he's doing. Nobody fool you or tell you nothing different. Just listen very carefully to the meetings that we got coming out. So you all will know exactly where Kemar's coming from and his part and his crew coming from. So I want you all just to stay focused and one love to all.
Thank you guys for that. I humbly appreciate your kind words. Um, yeah, I won't give any long, a long sentimental thing. I appreciate the kind words. So I appreciate the initial support for the N.N.P. The organization has a new organization. So we could only keep doing well and keep pushing it forward with the people's support, because this is about the people. This is a people's party. This is not the corporate party. This is not the corporate party. This is not the old party system. This is the new national party, and we will seek to deliver the leadership that is needed to drive Barbados through the next 25 years up until the year 2050, when is realistically that is when we will be coming out of the IMF program. Right? So all is not lost. There is hope, not hope like the Hope Project, but there's a real hope on the way in terms of the policies, the plans, the ideas, the proposals, the support that we are getting, both local, regional, and international support. As you guys know, I would have done some work overseas for a short bit, and You know, all I can say is that the people are watching, and with the formation of the new national party, democracy will be better
Wait till you
served.
want me to chat here, mommy.
Mute your mic, Fabi, please. Right. With the new national party being on board, democracy will be better served. There will definitely be a new entity on the ballot. So traditionally, you had BD, and you know you have the ends, right? And the ends will be here to stay. Some people say political parties come, political parties go. The political scientists, right? The political scientists, Peter Wickham and George Bell, they all argue that, you know, third parties won't last or have much effect on the population, and that third parties will only serve to weaken the opposition movement. I am here to say to both of them that I believe that notion is completely false, and I believe that notion is a fallacy. And that notion is a fallacy because in 2018, you had the most political parties ever in history contesting an election, along with many independents. And the Barbados Labour Party was in the opposition. And the Barbados Labour Party walked home with 30 seats, winning the election with every seat. And that didn't weaken the Barbados Labour Party, given the fact that all of those parties were present. Right? So how now in reverse could it weaken the opposition? Right? So the strength of an entity, the organization of an entity, right? The foundation of the entity, along with being able to command the support and public confidence of the people who are then going to entrust you to put you there. Um, Again, that notion of it weakening the opposition is completely false. And realistically, if we say straight up, um, structurally at this point, both organizations, traditional organizations, have major fractures in them, like major historical fractions in them, which will continue to exist for some time. So therefore, the new national party must differentiate itself philosophically, right? Must differentiate itself in operation, and it must differentiate itself in the true sense as being a breath of fresh air for the people of Barbados who indicated, right, continue to indicate based off the voter turnouts that we are seeing and how low these voter turnouts are, right? And it's expected that they're going to have another low voter turnout in the St. James North election. It will definitely show and continue to show that the people's confidence is waning, has waned, and will continue to go down in the options that were traditionally available before politically. Going forward, I believe the N.N.P will spark a movement of other parties who believe they have a chance to come into the fray, and I believe Barbados will be better served, better served having more people at the table standing watch guard. Yes. So with that being said, I want to say a good night to everyone and say thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for the support. The new national party will continue to grow from strength to strength. Um, Give us that give us that ear, give us that time. Reach out to us, get involved. We're open to learning. We're lifelong learners. This is multi-generational. We have persons from all different generations, but we are open to the public for membership. We're open to the public to come to the party. The same way there are two other political parties established, the new national parties established. We're accepting members, we're accepting applications for candidacy, we're accepting persons who want to volunteer. As I said, it's a new party. is being rolled out and formulated according to the needs of the people. It's not a pun, it's not a jacket party. It's not a jacket party, it's a legal, legit, you know, it's a legit organization which is going to grow from strength to strength and play a big part, big part. Yeah, somebody has the mic open. Somebody has the mic open. Hey, sorry. Okay, so to wrap up, I would say thank you to everyone on the live. This is an interactive session. This is not, just coming here to hear us speak. We want feedback. We want to hear from you, the public, what you expect for governance going forward. The space is open to N.N.P supporters. The space is open to Democratic Labour Party supporters. The space is open to Barbados Labour Party supporters. The space is open to Bajan Free Party supporters. The space is open to independent candidates, right? Because this is definitely a winning coalition that we want to bring to the people of Barbados. And to win, you need to have unity, right? You need to have connectivity, and most importantly, you need to be in tune with the people of Barbados. And the work that we've been doing put us in tune with the people of Barbados, and we want to continue to grow on that trajectory. So, thank you very much, one and all. Thank you very much, one and all. The new National Party is here to stay. Look out for our press conference that is coming very, very, very soon. We have some exciting persons to address it. So I want to encourage you to look for it. That date is coming up very soon. Look out on our social media pages. So let me give you that one more time before we go. New National Party Barbados _ on Instagram. New National Party Barbados on Facebook. And N.N.P Barbados at Gmail. WhatsApp 246-9912. You could message the number, get added to the N.N.P chat. You don't necessarily have to be a member of the N.N.P to be in that chat. However, you have to be a member, to work with the committees and to work within the inner core of this new political organization that has emerged. It is an emergent venture in Barbados. So we ask the public to treat it like an emergent venture and not treat it like the traditional ventures that we need to get off of. So thank you very much, guys. Anything you guys want to say quickly before we sign off?
Thank you all very much, and one love to all.
Just remember, the new National Party. Come out and give your support. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and one love to all.
Thank you guys for joining the N.N.P chat.
Yes, thank you all. New National Party. Look out for us every Tuesday. We're going to be here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. N.N.P night against them. Somebody needs to mute the mic. Somebody needs to mute the mic. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Yes. Good night, everyone. See you for alternate views on Thursday, by the way. Alternate views is on Thursday, and then we're back here for political nights on Tuesdays. So, new National Party, we're out. Discussion promises to become heated next week. Good night.